problem. The Democrats have an even bigger problem than just Biden and Kamala. They have a demographic problem. This is a Quinnipiac poll. It's Biden's job approval. Now, we know it's not good, right? And these polls have been coming out for a while, and they're always bad. So just among people, voters, 31% approve, 60% disapprove. Okay, that's a problem. Independents are even worse, 67% disapproval for independents. But look at Hispanics. 19% approve. 19% of Hispanics. 70% disapprove. What? Hispanics do not like Joe Biden or the Democratic Party. How can that be? Even after Dr. Jill Biden said this?
The diversity of this community, as distinct as the Bogotas of the Bronx, as beautiful as the blossoms of Miami, and as unique as the breakfast tacos here in San Antonio.
I feel like bodegas has gotten overlooked in that clip as well, that she called them bodegas. Right? So shockingly, calling Hispanic people tacos hasn't helped the Democratic Party. You know, the Democrats are really looking to improve their numbers with Muslims as well. And Dr. Jill Biden, she's giving a speech later today where she's going to call them falafels. So we got tacos and falafels. We're just going to call each voting demographic a different representative food item. That's what the Democrats. So we got the biscuits and gravy. They're very racist against the tacos and falafels. By the way, the falafels are voting for Republicans now more than ever as well. So they're in trouble with the falafels too. So check out this. This is a fascinating, more in-depth analysis here, more than just approve, disapprove. This is a survey comparing progressive people and Hispanics in general, right? So progressives usually, if you want to visualize this, is going to be a wealthy, urban, white, usually a woman, but whatever, a wealthy, urban, white person, their view versus Hispanics. Check out these questions here. I'll share 4 of them. So they were asked a very simple question. Transgender athletes should be able to play on sports teams that match their current gender identity or not. So this is, should men be able to compete against women in sports? Progressives, 66% say that men should be able to compete against women. 66%. Hispanics, 64% say the opposite. Like, no. Of course they shouldn't be able to compete against women. Check this one. Racism is built into our society, including into its politics and institutions. This is the 1619 Project. Or racism comes from individuals who hold racist views, not from our society and institutions. Progressives, 94% think that this country is irredeemably racist at its core. 94%. Hispanics, 58% say, well, no, of course not. Of course it's not a racist country. Completely the opposite. Third question, hard work and determination are no guarantee of success for most people, versus most people who want to get ahead can make it if they're willing to work hard. Progressives, 88% say, nope, can't get ahead. No matter how hard you work, you just can't get ahead in this evil, horrible, racist country. 88% say no. Hispanics, 55% are like, oh, we work hard. Hard work is what you need. Again, completely opposite. How about this one? America's not the greatest country in the world versus how we start every show. America is the greatest country in the world. 66% of progressives say, no, America's not the greatest country in the world, which of course, why are you here? 70% of Hispanics say, yeah, of course America's the greatest country. Those are major differences. Those are completely opposite views of the world. These aren't just policy questions, these are world view questions. And the Democratic Party currently is controlled by this progressive wing of the party. And the progressives could not be more out of touch with Hispanics. Could not be out of touch. Hispanics voting for Republicans, it's hilarious. It could be the greatest backfire in the history of American politics. You've had Democrats for decades now saying we need to import as many Hispanics as possible because they're going to vote for Democrats forever and will win every election everywhere around the entire country. So come on, everybody, come on in, open the borders, come on in. And then just a few years later, whoa, wait, what? Who are they voting for? They're deport them! Abort mission! Deport the brown people! Deport the brown people! Brown people, I love that. Latinx, right? They call them Latinx and brown. Progressives call Hispanics brown people. And then come back and say, why are they not voting for us? Why are all the browns not voting for me? We got to do better with the brown vote. Jeez, this is so racist. Seriously, that's the biggest political story of the last few decades and in the making right now. When political experts look back on these few decades, it'll be the rise of the Hispanic Republican. Well, why are Hispanics voting Republican? Well, check this out. This is the poverty rate of Hispanic families in the US. It actually goes back to 1990. I think we only have from 2010 up on this map, but from 1990 to 2020. So percentage of Hispanic families who live in poverty. In the 90s, 28% of Hispanic families lived in poverty. Even as recent as 2010, the poverty rate for Hispanics was 24%. Today it's 14 and trending in the right direction. So poverty among Hispanic families in only a generation or so has been cut in half. So Hispanics are people who want to be and are upwardly mobile. And the Democratic message of victimhood and inequity is not connecting, to say the least. New CBS poll, generic ballot for 2022, whatever this is worth, right? You're going to vote for the Democrat or the Republican. Right? For voters, well, they're going to vote for Democrat, right? They still win that ballot. Women still say they're going to vote Democrat by a wide margin. But look at this Hispanic voters. 45 to 42. That's a statistical tie. Hispanics voting for Republicans now more than ever. That same survey, just 4 years ago, had a 25-point advantage for Democrats among Hispanics. 25 points. That was just 4 years ago. So it's twofold. First, you got your economic issues, as we just spoke about. Hispanics in Texas, at least, maybe not in California, but Hispanics in Texas, on average, more entrepreneurial than white people even. So you have the economic aspect of it, but also the cultural and social. A lot of Hispanics are Catholic. They're not woke. They're pro-life. They're pro-family. They're anti-drag queen story hour. Drag queen story hour is the best. Drag queen story hour is the perfect manifestation of the progressive cultural ideal in one image. If I was tasked with making up something that could best personify the progressive future dystopian ideal, if I wanted to characterize in an outrageously comical way the progressive cultural vision, I would manufacture an event where drag queens read and perhaps even perform to children in the children's section of libraries or in elementary schools. I would do that just to make a visually striking and scandalizing point about what the progressives really want in our culture. That's what I would have created. If my mind could have even been twisted enough to come up with it. They did it themselves. They themselves put together such events and continue to push it more and more. And Hispanics are looking at this saying, what? Como? What's going on? It's not the country I came to. Hey, Slater Crusaders. So the Democrats are going to get crushed in 2022. There's no question about that, which really puts them in quite a pickle for 2024. How bad is it going to be? Well, look at who they have as their bench for Biden. Kamala? Are you kidding me? Pete Buttigieg? Gavin Newsom? That's what our latest special was about, the Democratic position in 2024. We break down each of those potential candidates, and then we talk with the Democratic strategists and get an inside perspective on what the Democrats are sweating the most and who they're most concerned about. That's available now right here on The First. You can check it out by downloading the app and also on thefirsttv.com.